Okay, what an ending. All right, you talk about Cliffhanger. This is Traitors Season 3, Episode 10. Spoiler review to the max in regards to this. All right, so we leave off the last episode in the factor that Danielle has to make an ultimatum in regards to another member of the group, either become a traitor or be murdered. We obviously knew who that person was going to be, which was Britt. Now, the key thing is, I think it's a stupid choice just because they've been obvious throughout the last three episodes for sure. And I think even Britt made a comment at the end of last episode that if she was chosen, then it is obvious. No kidding. And not only as a viewer, but I would think anybody in that castle would have the same thing. All right, so the obvious happens. Brittany, why would she, take the murder option? Becomes a traitor. The key thing I want to indicate that unless it's really good editing, it is so obvious that these two have been in cahoots. And it's so obvious that Danielle is a traitor. Okay, so what leads this into the factor that they have to murder somebody? My buddy Tom gets murdered, which kind of stinks because for, comedy reasons, he was pretty much what I like to call a fan favorite in my household. But the key thing is he gets the axe, and now we are down to a very small group, I believe, of 6. All right, so here's the deal. There is going to be a special challenge that will give somebody the ultimate power that what Alan was indicating. Obviously, it's breakfast. They all realize that Tom has been murdered, considered a strength, et cetera, amongst Danielle, specifically Danielle and Britt. Now, they're trying to see or trying to accumulate as many votes as they can to rule out Gabby. I think Gabby is a really strong player, quite honestly, but they try to achieve that. Dolores, God love her, sweet lady, but open your eyes. Open your eyes. You're too devoted to Danielle. Danielle is just too obvious, and Britt is just too shaky throughout the whole episode. Ultimately, I'm going to just really go right through the mission really quickly because I think the missions are key, but they're, I think the two elements of the show is the beginning and the end that are the most dramatic. Ultimately, what they had to do is do a variety of different challenges, 3 in total, accumulate as many points as they can in order to receive ultimate power, which I believe is called a seer, which means that whoever wins this particular powerful position is that they can choose somebody and secretly that person that they choose will have to reveal if they're a traitor or a faithful. So the key thing is ultimately you don't want Britt or Danielle to win. Ultimately, I think even though they did not announce who it was, we'll have to find out next week. I think Danielle actually won it. Or if it wasn't Danielle, it had to be Dolores closer, unless there's a complete shocker in the end. The key thing is that what they do after the mission and they head back is they, Britt and Danielle try to campaign heavily for Gabby. Gabby, I got a feeling, has an idea of what's going on. Ultimately, it leads to the table. Now, Dylan, God love this kid. Open your eyes. I think he was going to go vote Gabby. Dolores wasn't having it. She's going to vote, either Igor or whatever his name is, or Gabby, I believe. And the key thing is that what Britt and Danielle started realizing is that they're not getting the votes that they wanted for Gabby. People might be switching on to Danielle. Leads us to the final table. All right. This was awesome. I'll be honest with you, quite honestly, probably one of the best episodes. All right. So what happens is tug and pull of Gabby and Danielle. It was classic. Whatever Danielle was throwing, Gabby was throwing it right back. Whatever Danielle was trying to do a comparison, Gabby was comparing herself to Danielle. So there was really, Gabby was playing Danielle's game, quite honestly. So ultimately, what happens is this. We go to the vote. This 6. All right. Danielle doesn't vote for Gabby. She votes for the Englishman. I forget his name, guys. Is it Ivan? Is it Igor? I think it's Ivan. Dolores, Ivan. Ivan, Danielle. Britt, Ivan. Dylan, Danielle. That's the shocker. That was awesome. And then if I mention it, Gabby, Danielle. 3-3. We got ourselves a problem. Now what ends up happening? They have to revote, but this time Ivan and Danielle have to take a back seat. Danielle and Ivan have to state their case, both positive, and then goes to the final vote. All right. Dylan, so Danielle states her case to Dylan to please keep her in. It was a direct message. Instead of defending herself to the group, she was defending and pleading for Dylan's vote. If that does not look guilty, outside of the dramatic shaking, crying, all that she's been doing throughout the last several episodes, this one right here is like you are exposing yourself. Britt is like she's sitting on a bunch of jumping beans. So ultimately, we get to the vote. Dolores, Ivan. Gabby, Danielle. Dylan, Danielle. And that leads us to Britt's vote. So she's shaking. She's looking at Dolores. She's trying to make some sort of eye contact. Britt looks at Dolores like as if she is looking towards Danielle prior to the second vote, and then realizes that Dolores voted for Ivan, which we're ready to see Britt's flip. And what happens? Wait until next week. Okay, guys, you want to talk about a cliffhanger? That was awesome. You have to wait 7 days. It stinks. But that is how you make compelling reality competition game episodes. So I don't know. I do not know. If it is Gabby and she votes for Ivan, then we're 2-2. And I forget what that tiebreaker is, but this is the last table. So it will be revealed if Britt did Danielle wrong? Did she vote Danielle? Which I actually think would be a really smart play on Britt's part, but that's just me. But ultimately, what will happen is we'll know at the end. We'll find out who the seer is, and we'll see how it goes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed it. As always, like, follow, subscribe. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you next week.